Hi guys, let's review some absolute value inequalities. So at the top here, I'm just going to go over what inequalities are and how we would solve for our variable given our inequalities. So remember that we are going to treat them not like this. Come on. Treat like our equations when solving. So when we're given x plus 6 is less than 10, we can treat that kind of like an equal sign. We can move things back and forth from our inequality. Remember to leave your inequality right where it is, like you would an equal sign. So we still need to get x by itself on one side of the inequality. So looking at this first one, x plus 6 is less than 10. I can do just like I would with it was an equal sign and subtract 6, just like an equal sign. Whatever you do on one side, you gotta do on the other side. So x is less than 4 because 10 minus 6 is 4. All right, this one is the one we got to remember. We've got a multiplied by a negative 2. So same thing, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative, that's a negative 2. Okay, so then I'm left with x on this side. You need to star this extra big, even more than I've already got it starred. So remember, this is where we are going to have to flip our inequality sign. So we're flipping our inequality sign if we multiply or divide by a negative number. Only when we're multiplying or dividing by a negative number do we flip. If we're multiplying or dividing by a positive number, we do not flip our negative sign. So back to our example, so you see how I have flipped my sign because I'm dividing by a negative sign. So x is less than negative 3. All right, and we also in the past have graphed our inequalities on a number line. But I'm going to review that briefly here. So we've got x is less than 3. That means whatever x is, it's going to be smaller than 3. So it's going to be everything to the left of 3. And since it's just less than and less than are not equal to, this is when we're using our parentheses. So yes, we're back to using parentheses and brackets. So light blue, that's how you graph it. You put a parentheses at 3, you draw a line and an arrow for everything less than 3. So if you've got less than or greater than, you're using parentheses. Okay, this one over here, we've got negative 4 is less than or greater to x is less than 2. So this is saying to me that x is between negative 4 and 2. And my negative 4 is a less than or equal to, so I'm using my bracket. And at my 2, it's just a less than, so I'm using my parentheses. And I'm drawing a line in between those numbers. So if you've got a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you are using your bracket on your number line. So that's all there is to it, is you're just drawing on the number line where it goes to, okay? So let's look at if we're given absolute value expressions that are also inequalities. So we're going to do the same thing we did to solve for our absolute value expression to find the numbers for our absolute value inequalities. So again, steps. Get your absolute value expression by itself, okay? Well, this first example, it's not by itself. We've got the absolute value piece, and then we're adding 9. So let's subtract 9 from both sides. So we've got absolute value of n plus 4 is greater than or equal to 12. All right, this says to create 1 negative and 1 positive. And this is what's one of the parts that's going to change. We've got m plus 4 is greater than or equal to 12. M plus 4. This is the one that we're going to do negative. So technically, when we change that 12 to a negative 12, we are, depending on how you look at it, dividing or multiplying by a negative number. So we need to flip that inequality. So when you're changing the sign, if you're changing the sign, that little triangle means change. Changing the sign, you flip your inequality. Okay? That's why I went over it up there. All right, now we solve these just like normal. Minus 4, minus 4. M is greater than or equal to 8. Minus 4, minus 4. M is less than or equal to. My pen always messes up when I'm down at the bottom here. This is negative 16. So it looks like what? M is greater than 8, but then it's also less than negative 16. And these are both equal to. So we can have a graph that looks like this. And I'm going to have to, come on. It's not going to let me draw way down here, huh? Okay, pretend that's on the number line. Bracket. And then less than or equal to negative 16. Oh, not going to let me draw on that. Okay. So pretend those lines are on the number line. Let me take a step back up here to our graph, because you might see, instead of parentheses and brackets, you might see open circles and closed circles. Come on, closed circles. Same thing as our parentheses and brackets. That never stayed there. Closed circle, right there. Okay, so you might see either or. You might see the parentheses, which is also a open circle, and you might see a bracket, which is a closed circle. You might want to write that in words. I'm not going to, though. Okay, let's do the second example quickly. Oh, we forgot to fill in step 4, which is our graph. Okay, step 1, get our inequality by itself. All right, it is being multiplied by a negative 3, so we have to divide both sides by the negative 3. What's our rule? Dividing inequalities by a negative number. We have to flip our sign. So negative 108 divided by negative 3 is 36. Now we need to split into our 2. So we've got 16k minus 6 is less than 36. Now remember, when I'm changing the sign, I'm now flipping this inequality again. Negative 36. Let us solve by adding 6, adding 16k divided 16k is less than 42 divided by 16k is less than 7. All right, minus 6, 16k is greater than, what is that, the same thing, negative 42, divide by 16, divide by 16, k is greater than, oh, sorry, negative 7. Okay. K is greater than negative 7. All right, final step. Let's graph. Look, k is less than 7 and it's greater than negative 7. So it's less than 7. Let's do our open circle this time. And it's greater than negative 7. That means that k is somewhere along this line. I can also write this one, you might see the answer written as negative 7 is less than k is less than 7. And that's just telling us that k is in between negative 7 and 7 in a different way than splitting it out. If you're doing multiple choice, you might see it either way. If you're writing it out, either way is good with me. Let me know if you have any questions.